how do you want a guy to date you? Do you even know what you want from a guy? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Layla B here, and I'm back with another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about how to set your standards and use them. So if you're interested in learning more on how to do that, then please stay tuned. Tip number one is, how do you want a guy to date you? Do you even know what you want from a guy? So how do you want a guy to treat you on a date? How do you want the dating process to go? What does that look like for you as far as dating a guy? Because I know it seems like an odd question to ask, like why would I care about how the process would go? But it really is important, because if you don't know how you want a guy to date you, then you're just gonna basically leave it up to him. And if you leave it up to him, then you won't really know what it is that you wanted from him in the first place. And that also lets him call the shots on how he's going to treat you in the dating process, and that's what we don't want. We want him to know how to treat us. We want him to know how to date us properly, and and then we can kind of go from there, versus it just kind of letting it be a go with the flow type thing. Because again, like I've been telling you guys in my videos, guys will test you and they will see how far they can get with minimal effort. And we want them to put in high effort, so that we know for sure that this is the person that we should be giving our all to. So the first thing is to know how you want a guy to date you. Next tip, and this is something that I did when I was just over the dating thing and I was just so done, and I was like, okay, I need to literally do this so I know how to move forward in the dating world. So what I'm going to tell you guys to do is write down 5 ways you want a guy to date you. And what does that look like, right? So what I did was I wrote down 5 things I wanted a guy to do when I was dating them. And these were things that I wasn't getting from guys as I was dating, and mostly because I didn't know what I wanted. I just was like, okay, I'll just go with the flow. So write down 5 different things you want a guy to do when dating you. So for me specifically, what I wanted was, I wanted to go on proper dates. I did not want to go on any more Netflix and chill, just come over type, dates. I wanted an actual proper date. I also wanted to get phone calls from guys. I did not want to just be texting guys all the time. I wanted to actually hear their voice, have real conversations over the phone. Number 3, I wanted guys to open the door for me. I wanted to, when we were out together, that he would open the car door, the restaurant door. And it didn't seem like a big deal before, but I knew it was something that I appreciate when a guy does. I like a guy who's a gentleman. So I was like, I want a guy to open the doors for me. Number 4, I wanted consistency from a guy. I did not want to be dealing with a guy who was in and out, like would hit me up here and there. I wanted someone who was going to be consistent. And number 5, I wanted high effort from the guy. I did not want a guy that was just treating me like I was a last minute person. I did not want a guy to be hitting me with, let's just, talk, or let's just chill, or let's get McDonald's. I was like, no, I wanted someone who was actually going to put in the effort to get to know me, put in the effort to be around me. So those are some examples that I used when I first started doing this. The next thing you want to do is to put these examples, or put whatever your standards are, into action. And this is going to take some trial and error to see what works and what doesn't. So for me, with the dates, I was like, okay, how am I going to get guys to stop treating me like, taking me to their house and stuff? And I had to think about, well, I just need to stop allowing it to happen. I just need to stop going over there, and I need to stop accepting those minimal dates. So anytime that I would meet a guy, if he hit me with, let's just chill, or why don't you come over, or why don't we why don't I come over there and cook for you? And I was like, okay, I see these as traps. Not to say that every man is gonna want, X, Y, and Z, but that's how I need to treat them. I would tell them, I'm not comfortable coming over to your spot, or I'm not comfortable with you coming over, but I'll do a date though, and I'll maybe put like a smiley face at the end, or if we're on the phone, I'd be like, yeah, I think that's cool, eventually I think we can get there, but right now I'm just not comfortable with that, but we can go on a date, you know what I mean? And the way I'm saying it doesn't sound like, first off, why you ain't tell me, like, why are you not taking me on a date? Like, why are you over here acting like this? Like, and I've done that before too, and they got real aggressive. So it's all about how you say it. Even in text messages, that you have to soften the blow with like a smiley face or something, because ultimately you're basically rejecting their offer of what they want to do. And you don't want him to feel super butthurt. I mean, he could be butthurt, but you don't want him to feel like you're being an ass about it. Like, you want him to feel like, okay, she let me down, but this is what she wants to do. Versus it being like, girl, who do you think you are? Like, So just let them know, like, or for me, I just let them know, like, hey, that's just not something that I feel comfortable with, or, I don't want to do that right now, but I'll go on a date with you. You know what I mean? And if they say, okay, like, cool, like, yeah, let's do it, like, I'll let you know where we can go, whatever, then we go on the date and it's good to go. Or if he be like, yeah, nah, I'm not really trying to do all that, then I'd be like, cool, and I just would stop talking to them, like, period. Because I knew I had to stop my behavior in going over there and accepting just a date. Even if they were super, super cute, super fine, I was like, nope, I want to go on real dates. So whoever's not taking me on real dates, they don't get my company, basically. So number 2 for me with phone calls, it was I wanted guys to give me a call, or we would talk on the phone. And when you get into the texting thing, you start texting, and eventually, before you even have a date, you guys have shared everything about you guys, and by the time you get to the date, you don't have a whole lot to talk about, because you already then text everything this whole time. So I was like, what, I'm gonna stop doing that, because I do not want, I want them to have an incentive to go on the date with me so they can get to know me in person. And 2, I don't want them to feel so comfortable talking to me any type of way, because that's kind of what happens when you start texting people for so long. They start feeling comfortable, just naturally, as you guys get to talking, and eventually hanging out and going on dates and stuff like that isn't much of a priority, because you're getting everything just from text messages. So I was like, how am I going to get the guys to give me calls? And so I realized I started to stop texting them so much throughout the days. And I basically just became too busy to text all day. And the way I did this was I just started becoming more involved in my own world. I started going to different classes. I started doing different hobbies and stuff like that, to kind of keep my self occupied throughout the day and really just be busy. And I would not return their text messages right away, and I would space my text messages out throughout the days. Like, basically, if he texts me, in the morning, like, I would probably text them, whenever I got done with whatever it is that I'm doing. I would text them probably in the morning, but it'd be hours later, or basically I would keep the conversation, I would keep the text messages short, keep the text messages cool, short, ha he he, messages, but I'm not gonna send paragraphs of messages. I'm not gonna text him all day throughout the day, like a hey, good morning, how's work going, stuff like that, but because that's really what text messages are for anyway. Like, they're really not for us to be texting all day. It's really more of like, okay, hey, like, let's link up, let's do this, let's do that, X, Y, and Z. But in our generation, we just use texting as just our only form of communication. And I'm not saying that that's bad. Like, I say, when he's your man and then you guys are like together and it's established, then you guys can text all day every day, it's good to go. But when you're dating people or starting to date like guys and stuff, you don't want to be texting them all day, every day, and get into a routine of, oh, he texted me this morning, I gotta text back. Like, no. Keep the text messages spaced all the way out, and that way, you know, he won't, that way he'll know, like, dang, she's kind of busy all the time. And if you let him know, like, you know, yeah, I'm kind of busy right now, why don't you give me a call later tonight? And they'd be like, okay, cool. Because they're already in their mind like, dang, she kind of like, she takes forever to text back, or, you know, she's always busy at work. You know, I'll just give her a call later tonight and we'll just catch up. And, you know, normally guys are pretty cool with that. Now, yes, they may be shy to get on the phone. You may be shy to get on the phone, but at least you guys can have those conversations over the phone, and then you can kind of, you know, feel the vibe with each other, you know, get to know the chemistry even before the date, just so you guys feel, you know, a little bit more comfortable. Not super comfortable, but just a little bit more comfortable. And that way you guys won't have to, that way you don't feel like you gave so much in the texting. And, you know, you just kind of give them incentives, give them incentives on what to look forward to. So like a phone call, a date, you know, give them some incentives to, you know, keep it going. Like I said, with me, consistency was a big deal. I wanted someone who was consistent. And so for me, if I saw that a guy was being very inconsistent, he would text me here and there, or he would, you know, show up here and there, or he would, you know, do this here and there, I would just immediately pull back, and we would basically start from square one until he, you know, really showed me that he was trying to be consistent and really getting to know me. Because I have been through so many times where I was talking to a guy and he would just, you know, disappear for 3-4 days and then reappear and then disappear and then reappear. And I was just like, what the hell? Like, we can't even get to know each other if you don't communicate. And I would go so hard on it and be like, you have to communicate with me and you have to talk to me. And, you know, and it never really worked, because they would be like, oh yeah, like, I'm sorry, I've just been really busy and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, and it never would like get better. It would just, he would just not care. And, you know, I would eventually just be like over it. So as soon as I started seeing that behavior, I immediately pulled back and stopped giving my energy to them. I would just, you know, if he hit me up, I may or may not respond. If he, you know, talk about let's link up, I may or may not be busy. You know what I mean? So I would just immediately pull back my feelings and my emotions, because I'm like, we're not going to go down that path. And until he shows me consistency, then I'll show him consistency. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to match that energy. And that's just what I did. And then the same thing for, like I said, I wanted a guy with high effort. I did not want to be chasing after no guy no more. I was like, I'm so tired of it. I've been chasing after all these guys all this time. If they would, you know, tell me that they wanted to hang out with me, I would be planning all the dates, and I would be, you know, trying to talk to them, and I would be trying to call them, and I would just be doing too much, okay? And I was like, you know what? This time I do not want to have to do all this work to, you know, get a guy. Like, I was like, I wanted a guy to really want me and really chase after me and really put in the effort to get to know me. And so as soon as I saw someone who was giving me low effort, like I was saying with the whole date thing, like if he hit me up last minute talking about, why don't you come over, or what are you doing, and he'll hit me with that text, what are you doing? Me and him haven't talked in days. Hit me up with a what are you doing, or how you been, or what's up. Like, I wouldn't even respond. I just stopped responding to that. I stopped responding to basically low effort text messages, low effort dates, low effort conversations. Like, I was like, you know what, at this point I don't want any guy that's gonna give me minimal effort. I know that I wanted a guy that was gonna give me the same amount of effort that I would be giving him. So if I saw that he was not giving me, you know, as much effort, or he was starting to trail off, then I would trail off. And, you know, and eventually I would just probably stop talking to them, because, you know, most of the time they would never really pick back up, and that's okay. And I had to be okay with that, because I was like, I'm not going to sit here and accept this type of behavior, accept this effort, because I know that's not something that I would do if I like somebody, and I want the same back, and I know I deserve the same back. So basically, I'm telling you guys this because if you guys have similar examples, or if you guys have other standards that you have, don't fall off your standards because you're afraid to be alone, or you're afraid he's gonna, you know, disappear, or you're afraid he's not gonna want you. And because he may not want you, I'll just be honest with you, I'm gonna be 100%, he may not want you. For instance, if one of your standards is you don't want to have sex with a guy until you guys are in a relationship, there's going to be a lot of guys that probably are not going to want to date you because they want to have sex, period. And that's just the reality of it. But that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with your standards. That doesn't mean that you got to change your standards. It just means that that person for you, it just means that you may have to weed out a lot more guys to find the right one that's gonna, you know, respect your standards. You have to be okay with having your standards and accepting the fact that not all guys are gonna like that, and you may have to weed out a lot more guys to withhold your standards, because there are plenty of girls out here with no standards and are letting guys get away with just whatever, and guys are used to that. You know, no fault to them, they're just used to being able to get what they want, and you're gonna be the one that is gonna tell them no, and they're gonna be like, why not? You know. So but if he really likes you, and I mean really likes you, he will, you know, abide by your standards. Trust me. Like, there are plenty of guys out here that will like you enough to abide by your standards, and they won't be guys that, you know, are guys that you're not attracted to. Like, there will be somebody out there that is, you know, that you are attracted to and that you do like, and he will, you know, abide by your standards. So don't give up, girls. I'm with y'all too. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed a few of these tips and have written down your own examples or your own standards, and let me know how it goes. Put it down in the comments below. Let me know what other videos you guys want to see, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye.